In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to start an LLC in Kansas step by step, even if you've never started a business before. We'll go through everything you need to know, including the paperwork, the cost, how long it takes, and some of the common mistakes that can slow you down if you're not careful. Now, Kansas is a really popular state for small businesses because it has a relatively simple setup process and a strong business environment. But once you actually start looking into it, there are still a few steps that can feel confusing if you're doing it for the first time. So in this guide, I'm going to break everything down clearly so you know exactly what to expect. And if you'd rather avoid dealing with the paperwork yourself, I'll also explain why many entrepreneurs choose to use Tailor Brands to handle the process properly. If you want to check them out, I do have a discount link for Tailor Brands in the description and pinned comment below the video. Before we jump into the steps though, let's quickly go over what an LLC actually is and why so many people use one. So an LLC, or a limited liability company, is one of the most popular business structures in the United States, especially for freelancers, small business owners, and online entrepreneurs. The main reason people choose an LLC is because it helps create a legal separation between the business and the individual who owns it. Without that separation, the business and the owner are considered the same entity, which means personal assets could potentially be at risk if something goes wrong. Now, when you form an LLC, the business becomes its own legal entity, which helps protect your personal finances in many situations. And on top of that, it also makes your business look more professional, which can be important when working with clients or partners. Now, once you understand why an LLC is so useful, the next thing is looking at why Kansas specifically is such a popular choice. Kansas has become a really attractive state for entrepreneurs because it offers a good balance between affordability and ease of setup. The filing process is relatively straightforward, and the costs are reasonable compared to many other states. Kansas also has a strong economy and a growing business environment, which makes it appealing for both local businesses and online entrepreneurs. At the same time, there are still a few requirements and ongoing obligations that you will want to understand before getting started. So with that in mind, let's break down exactly how to form your LLC step by step. So what I'm going to do now is walk you through the entire process from start to finish. These are the exact 6 steps you'll need to follow to get your Kansas LLC set up properly, and once you understand these, the whole process becomes a lot more manageable. So starting with the first step, let's talk about choosing your business name. Your LLC name needs to be unique and distinguishable from other businesses registered in Kansas, and it must include a designator like LLC or limited liability company. Now, before you file anything, you'll want to check the Kansas Secretary of State database to make sure your name is actually available, because if the name is already taken or too similar to another business, your application can be rejected, which means you'll have to go back and redo that part of the process. And this is one of those steps that seems simple at first, but it can easily slow things down if you don't handle it properly. That's one reason many entrepreneurs choose to use a service like Tailor Brands, since their system checks name availability automatically and helps you avoid those delays. If you want to check them out, I do have a discount link for Tailor Brands in the description and pinned comment below the video. Now, once your business name is sorted, the next step is setting up your registered agent. Every Kansas LLC is required to have a registered agent with a physical address in the state. This person or company is responsible for receiving legal documents and official notices on behalf of your business. Now, while you can act as your own registered agent, a lot of people choose not to, mainly because your address becomes public and you need to be available during business hours. And that's where services like Tailor Brands come in, because they handle all of that for you and make sure nothing important gets missed. Now, once you've got your registered agent in place, you're ready for the step that actually makes your LLC official. So this is where you officially create your LLC by filing the Articles of Organization with the Kansas Secretary of State. This document includes basic information about your business, such as your LLC name, registered agent details, and company address. Now, the form itself isn't overly complicated, but it does need to be completed accurately because even small mistakes can delay the approval process. And because of that, this is another point where some entrepreneurs decide to use a formation service just to make sure everything is done correctly the first time. Now, once your LLC is officially formed, there are still a few important things you'll need to set up internally. So the next step is creating your operating agreement. This document outlines how your business will be run, including ownership structure, responsibilities, and how decisions will be made. Even though Kansas doesn't require you to file this document with the state, it's still really important to have one because it keeps everything structured and clear as your business grows. Now, after that, you'll need to get your business set up from a tax and banking perspective. So the next step is getting your EIN, which is your business tax ID. This is issued by the IRS and is used for things like opening a business bank account and handling taxes. The good news is that this part is pretty quick and can usually be done online in just a few minutes. Now, once you've got your EIN, you can move on to setting up your finances properly. Opening a business bank account is one of the most important steps after forming your LLC. It helps keep your business finances separate from your personal finances, which is essential for maintaining your liability protection and keeping everything organized. Now that you've seen the whole process, let's talk about the costs involved. Let's talk about the cost, because this is where a lot of people start to have questions. The state filing fee for a Kansas LLC is typically around $165 if you file online, which is fairly standard compared to other states. You'll also need to factor in the cost of a registered agent if you use a service, which is usually around $100 per year. Kansas also requires an annual report fee to keep your LLC in good standing, which is something you'll need to budget for each year. So while the upfront cost is reasonable, it's important to understand the ongoing cost as well. Now, alongside cost, the next thing people usually want to know is how long all this takes. In terms of timing, Kansas LLC approvals are usually pretty fast, especially if you file online. In many cases, your LLC can be approved within 1 to 3 business days, although this can vary depending on processing times. And like with most steps in this process, delays can happen if there are any mistakes in your filing, which is actually more common than people expect when doing everything manually. Now, this is one of the areas where using a formation service can make things noticeably quicker and easier because they help make sure everything is submitted correctly the first time, which reduces the chances of delays or rejections. But I'll go into that in a bit more detail later on. Now, before you go ahead and file everything, it's also worth knowing what mistakes to avoid. One of the biggest mistakes people make is not checking their business name properly before filing, which can lead to rejection and delays. Another common issue is misunderstanding ongoing requirements like annual reports, which can cause compliance problems if it's not handled correctly. And then there's mixing personal and business finances, which can weaken the liability protection your LLC is supposed to provide. So taking a bit of extra time to get these details right can save you a lot of trouble later. Now, once your LLC is approved, there are still a few final steps to take. You'll want to finalize your operating agreement, make sure your EIN is set up, and open your business bank account. Depending on your business type, you may also need licenses or permits before you can start operating. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few moving parts even after the LLC is formed, and managing everything on your own can take time. So at this point, it's worth taking a closer look at what using the service actually looks like in practice. A lot of entrepreneurs reach this stage and realize that while the process is doable, there are quite a few steps involved, and it can start to feel a bit overwhelming if you're doing everything on your own. Now, this is where services like Tailor Brands start to make a lot more sense. Instead of trying to figure everything out step by step, jumping between different websites and making sure you haven't missed anything, everything is handled in one place. They guide you through the process in a structured way, help you enter your information correctly, and take care of the actual filing with the state. And for a lot of first-time business owners, that alone makes the whole process feel much easier to manage. On top of that, Tailor Brands also gives you access to tools that help you build your business beyond just forming the LLC, which is something a lot of people find useful once they get started. Now, once you understand why people use services like this, it's helpful to see exactly how the process works. So if you decide to go this route, the process is actually very straightforward. You'd start by clicking the discount link in the description or pinned comment below the video, which takes you directly to their setup page. From there, you select your state, enter your business name, and their system will instantly check if it's available. Then you'll answer a few simple questions about your business, and they guide you through everything step by step so you're not second guessing what to put. They'll help you set up your LLC, act as your registered agent if you choose that option, and handle the filing with the state on your behalf. And instead of worrying about whether you filled something out incorrectly or missed a step, everything is handled for you behind the scenes. Now, when you look at it from a time perspective, this is where a lot of people start to see the real value. Because while you can do everything yourself, you'll usually spend time researching, fixing small mistakes, and making sure everything is correct. Whereas with a service like Tailor Brands, the process is guided, streamlined, and much easier to complete from start to finish. And in a lot of cases, that ends up saving you time and helping you avoid unnecessary delays. And again, if you want to check them out, I do have a discount link for Tailor Brands in the description and pinned comment below the video. Now, with that in mind, let's quickly wrap everything up. So overall, starting an LLC in Kansas might seem complicated at first, but once you break it down step by step, it becomes much more manageable. And whether you decide to do it yourself or use a service, the most important thing is just getting started and setting everything up properly. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to give the video a thumbs up so more entrepreneurs can find it. And if you want more practical guides like this, be sure to subscribe for more. And if you want a simple way to get your LLC set up without dealing with all the paperwork, you can check out Tailor Brands using the discount link in the description and pinned comment below the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.